place you do not know.
You will see her younger, no less, I would say, pretty than today. Captain Ayelet Zion, she's an amazing personality. You know, I just want to say that she is an inspiring personality, and what she did, what she does as a biology student, currently second year of her BA in Hebrew University in Jerusalem. Being a student today during the COVID-19 period is very tough. So she's a great specialist in Zoom, you know, and I believe she will become a great specialist in biology, whatever field she takes. And she will tell us a little bit about her training and then about her amazing experience, really life-changing experience in Nepal after the earthquake. So again, I just want to say that I'm so proud and happy and privileged to introduce Ayelet Zion to all of you. Well, I hope you will enjoy the presentation. You will share with whoever you feel is appropriate our recording, as Steve mentioned, and I hope to see you all the day after tomorrow in our virtual tour of Herodian, the Herodian Palace in the desert. Ayelet, thank you for joining us. It's all yours.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to share my story. Can everybody see? Okay.
We're good. We're good.
Okay. So I'll begin. I'm very excited and very nervous. This is my story, my service in the Army. I was in the Army for 6 years. I'm Captain Ayelet Zion, and I'm very glad to be here today and share it with you. If you have any question, feel free to ask whenever you feel. I'll do my best to answer the questions that I can share with you today. So I'll begin with my training. I'll explain a little bit about what's so special about my unit. My unit is the search and rescue team, okay? We divide the training into two parts. The first one is the search and rescue. Here you can see us wearing the orange vest. Do you know why the orange color, maybe? Okay, so the orange color is because it's the search and rescue color all around the world. If you can, if you have any emergency, look for the orange color. And the other part is the fighting. I'm also a fighter. As a woman, I did the same things as boys, and that's another thing that I would like to share the stories with you today. So as you can see in the pictures, we did all sorts of things in the training. We went to the field, we had guns, we trained how to fight, how to live in the field. And I want to show you a little short movie about my training. So let's see if you can hear it also.
Slept in days. Girl, you gon' make me late undressing me. No, you ain't seen me since yesterday. But see, I got a date with destiny. Cause this is summer that our life changed. Hov asked me, is you ready for it? I looked around at all his nice things. Told him, nigga, you already know it. Bitch, I'm the man of the year. Yeah. Straight through this bitch. Yeah. Bitch, I'm the man of the year. What you supposed to do when the OG niggas don't get it? Lost what was once theirs, but they won't quit it. Homie, it's a new era. Middle finger to the suit wearers. Let me show you how to move in a room full of dudes that don't got a fucking clue how to do this. Probably work with cubes, so to them it's a Rubik. My president is black, but my jeweler's still Jewish. So you know because he making a killing off me. Red diamonds he designing got me shining. Spotlight cover my body, my chain blinded. A cop light runner, they wanna but can't find them. Me and Hobie Ho out on the same island. Took the whip to the other side of Jamaica. Seen how he was living, said I gotta get my weight up. Formulated my plan, motivated by dreams. Parlayed with my mans, motivated my team. Said
איילת, את במיוט. איילת, את במיוט.
Okay, so the short film that you saw took about 8 months. 8 months was my training to become a search and rescue fighter. In my time, when I started the training, we were only 4 girls, around 80 boys, which is very few. Today, in my unit, we are 50% women, 50% men. So that changed over time and gave opportunities for other women to become fighters, which is, I think, very important to be equal as the boys. And here is some pictures with the other girls from the unit. After a few years, you can see that we grew. We are not only 4 girls. And here in the picture, I'll just do the pointer again. Okay. So here in the picture, you can see me in my officer training. After the training, the 8 months, I went to an officer course, which was also another 6 months. And we trained, we went to navigations weeks in the field all over Israel. We walked a lot, like 40 kilometers a night, like everybody else. We carried all the stuff that we had to do. And I felt the same as the boys. They treated me as equal, and they thought that, oh wow, you're not just another woman. You can be as helpful and as powerful as we can be. So that's why I really loved my unit. And after the training, the officer course, I went to my battalion as a platoon commander. Okay, so here you can see some pictures with my soldiers. I had at this time, after a year and a half, 20 soldiers who I took care of them. Okay, so what we do in the battalion, you can see that's not the search and rescue part, that's the fighting part to protect Israel. You know, we surround with enemies all over the borders and also at the West Bank. So here you can see the Egypt border that I protected. Here you can see some pictures from the West Bank. And what we mostly did, we protected the Jewish community who lived in the West Bank. And we also tried to keep it calm between the Arabs and the Jewish all around. So I want to show you another movie. I know that the quality of this movie is a little bit, let's say, not good, but I filmed it. I was the commander of this operation. It was very important one. We found and took to jail a very dangerous person, let's say. So if you have any question after this short movie, please ask. Okay, I'm on mute. Now you can hear me. Okay. So it's very important for me to say that when you are going on the battalion into a village, an Arabic village, it's important to be human before you do anything else, okay? It's very important for me to say that we kept and respected every person that we had to protect, to took from their houses. All of this is important to keep Israel safe. Okay. Do you have any questions until now?
Ayelet, there are some questions in the chat, so you can either read it or I can read it for you. Can you read the chat?
Yeah, I can see it. Okay.
It should be up there for you.
Yeah, I am reading it.
Okay, so just look up. There are a few questions now.
Yeah, so Bad 16, Bad 16, that's the place where a lot of people came to help my unit, but not for the fighters. Okay, the fighters in the search and rescue are in a different base. But it's very fun, but it's nice for me to know that you were there. John.
Why don't I read the question out so that they can hear what the question is?
Yeah, okay, so maybe I will, Ayelet, would you like me to read it for you?
Yeah.
But I would
we need it to be, Ilana, would you prefer to do it?
I just want you to skip the third question. It's just not okay for this talk, but
Okay. Okay. Are there any different requirements for your group? Ayelet?
Requirements? No, I think in the unit, everybody is doing the same training as everybody else. But my unit is very different from another unit in the army, okay?
How did you decide to go into this division of the IDF?
So when I joined the army, they didn't really ask me to. I just told them that I want to become a fighter. It's very important for me to give everything that I have to protect Israel. When I became a soldier, I already knew that I want to be an officer, to lead people, to command people. And the army chose search and rescue. I didn't choose it, but after I understood the importance of this unit, the special thing that I have two hats. I told you I have the search and rescue and also the fighting. So I can take life and also I can save life. And this sentence is very strong, I think. And that's why I wanted to stay and sign for another years. I don't know if you know, but soldiers, normal soldiers doing only 3 years. For now, it's 2.5 years in the service. I decided to stay for 6 years. So, yes.
Okay. Stuart asked, did the male soldiers in your unit had any problems accepting orders from a female officer?
I think maybe for 2 days, it was a problem. After they knew me and knew my friends and the other girls in this unit, they understand very good who we are. I can say today, because we are 50-50, it's very normal for them to see girls. It's not what it was 6 years ago.
Okay, and the last question for now, what are rules of engagement when in Palestinian village?
I don't want to go into details in this part, but I can say that if we didn't have any mission to go inside the village, we didn't go. Okay, we went into the village only because we had to. We had to do the job to keep us, to keep my family, to keep Israel as safe as possible.
Okay.
With
Well, there
respect,
is,
of course.
okay. So look, we have more questions, but I suggest we stop with questions
Yes.
now. You will continue with your presentation, and then we will be back to questions in the end of the presentation. Okay. So
Okay.
that's it for now. Go on, please.
Okay. So I'll continue. Here are some pictures also at the operating time. You can see my unit did some jobs with the Air Force. It's much quicker to go from area to area. And also we had some fun. Here is next to Jerusalem. We went to a spring in our free time. And I think this is a strong picture because after after you're going to a lot of jobs, you are very tired, you don't sleep much. The only thing that keeps you, let's say, human and happy is all of our friends. This is the picture of my battalion. I was a part of this. I think it was a Passover night when we eat all together and to have some rest after a long night of doing some jobs. And from now, I want to take you to another hat, okay, for the search and rescue. And I think that's very special to hear it from me because I was the youngest officer in this delegation. I'm talking about the delegation to Nepal after an earthquake. I was a platoon commander at this time. I was, I think, 21, something like this, 21 years old. And it caught me on Saturday morning. I got a phone from my commander. He asked me, do you have a passport? And I was, yeah, of course. My family loves to travel, but why? And then he told me that I was chosen to go into this delegation. And I was very excited because that's the first time that I can be a search and rescuer as I was trained. So on Sunday morning, my mom took me to the base. We got vaccine. We took the equipment, we packed it, and we saw that everything is okay, and we're ready to fly to Nepal. So in the delegation, you can see here all the numbers. We were a total of 280 soldiers, rescuers, medical groups, logistics. You know, we have to eat something. So there were also cookers, and that was the biggest delegation sent to Nepal all over the world after the earthquake of 2015. Here you can see a map of Nepal, and we're going to focus on the Kathmandu village. Okay, that was the biggest earthquake damaged at this valley. Okay, you probably know Nepal because of the Everest range, and as I don't know if you know, but most of the time Israelis who finish the army are going to travel all around the world, and one of the favorite places are Nepal. So we thought we're gonna see lots of Israelis trapped under the buildings and needed our help. Okay, so we were really afraid to find out what was the damage. So that's the flight. It was the first time El Al sent an airplane to such a distant place. And here you can see all the people sleeping in the airport on the ground because they didn't have any houses. And this is all the rescuer team. Okay, and here you can see me. That's me. And this was the only one I knew from the officer course. I didn't know anybody else because I was the youngest one, and I didn't have any experience at that point. Here you can see the base that we got from Nepal to put our equipment in. Okay, and this is how Nepal government transferred the wounded people. This is, I think, from India, an helicopter from India. Okay, you can see it's not very strong. And that's from above. That's our base. Okay, the blue tents are from China. They gave it as a gift to people who lost their houses. And here is the rescuers' tents. That's the medical tents, and that's the hospital. I don't know if you can see the green ones. So you can see it's a very large group and equipment that we brought from Israel with us. So that's the kitchen. You can see it's not something like you have in your houses. That's the field kitchen, and we had to get used to it for 28 days, which is not very comfortable, but that's what we had to do. That's very, we put it aside. It didn't really matter for us. So the first day, we just landed. We took all the equipment, we spread it, and we got the first job. So that was the first job. It was at night, you can see. And we heard that there was a family trapped in this building. We sent the dog. We had a rescue dog with us to smell if he can smell people moving or people, breath. And he didn't find anything. He didn't bark. And so we assumed that, okay, you can see the chances of people going to be alive inside this is not very strong. So from here, we went to another place. Okay, and we kept moving all around the Kathmandu city to search for people. The 24 hours are crucial, and you probably know it. And after 72 hours, which was the time that the Israeli delegation came to Nepal, the chances were not very strong, but we still kept on going and search and search. And as the search and rescue teams sent to the village, the other team, the medical team, spread the hospital. Okay, so that was the hospital, and you can see here the tracks from the airplane bringing the equipment. That's a delivery room. Of course, you have to take this with you because you don't really know what's gonna happen. That's the operating room. I don't think anybody of you would like to be operated at a room like this, but that's an operating field room. And when we came back and everything was okay, and we took all the equipment and we started doing the jobs, the medical jobs and the search and rescue job, we had a ceremony with the government saying, thank you, we welcome you, everything that you have to, that you need to, will help you. So after 2 days, we went from the Kathmandu cities into the Kathmandu villages, okay? The villages were far away from the city, and you can see here that we had to carry all of our stuff because the cars couldn't go inside the villages. And why is that? Because they built all the buildings from rocks, okay, from small blocks. And the earthquake was so strong that everything collapsed. And here is me. That's not a COVID-19 time, okay? That was 6 years ago. But we wear a mask because of the dust and of the smells and the diseases that we didn't really know what's going on over there. And that's me, very small, with the orange color. You can see how bright it is. And now I would like to share with you a very, let's say, emotional story that very affected me. It all started at this square, okay? We had, let's say, a call from a Nepali. He told us that he heard a telephone ring in this street, okay? And he knew that the family was living there, and he heard the ring twice. So we went there to check. And this is what we saw. That was the street when you go inside in the street. And as I was mentioned, I was the youngest one and the smallest one because I was a girl. So I told I'm gonna go inside. You can see here a little bit of orange inside. So that's me. Going under the blocks, the destroyed building, going into a small, tiny place, taking rocks, taking shoes, taking clothes, taking everything that I can to dig in to search for this 6 years old girl that we thought, and we got the information that was inside. And I was going in and I didn't think, and it didn't really matter if we had an aftershock. And all that matters was to find this girl. And once I took a rock, am I gonna see a hand, a body, a face? What do I see? So I kept going, and after a while, I smelled something, okay, and I told my commander, I told him at the back that I smelled something, and the smell was so strong, so I kept going. And after, I don't really know how much time, but I can guess it was over an hour, that the engineer told us, you're looking at the wrong place. It's the toilet room. That was the smell. And we got the information that another aftershock, very strong one, is going to be. So we had to get to decide. My commander had to decide. Do I stay and look for this girl? I don't really know if she's going to be alive. I don't know what's going on inside. I don't know how strong this building is going to be after the shock. Or do I keep my crew, my people safe? And that's a very difficult decision to make. So after a few minutes, we discussed it, we talked, we took the chances, and we had to leave. We had to leave this place. I don't really know what happened with that girl. I can guess that after the aftershock that just happened, the building was collapsed all over again, and that time we left this place. So this is the open area that we went to in the aftershock, because that's the safest place when you have an earthquake. And here you can see some pictures from the village of buildings. That's called the pancake destroyed, and that's just another building who didn't hold the damage, the earthquake. And those another pictures. Here you can see another team of ours looking inside with the track. That's another pictures. And just think if your kids, when they were 21, 20 years old, looking at these pictures, seeing families and people so sad, so confused, they don't really know what's going to happen with them, and they look for you because you wear the orange color. And that was very exciting. And here you can see the monkey temple. I don't know if you were in Nepal, but I don't know why is that, but it didn't really damage. That's the Kathmandu village from above, from the monkey temple. As you can see here, the monkeys. And when we went to Nepal, we didn't really understand what's so special about the way they live, okay, what they believe in. So here you can see another temple, and you can see here they are burning stuff. And that was the first time that my commander told me that they believe in burning the bodies, okay, the dead ones. And it took me, it was really shocking for me. I didn't understand why they do it, how they think of it, because Jewish don't really do that. So that's how it looks like, okay? You can see here the river. You can see here where that's the place, that's the platform that they are burning the bodies. And because there were too many bodies, you can see here that they didn't do it over the normal platform, they did it all over. Okay, so for me that was really shocking because I didn't really understand why they do it and how they can do it. So after 10 days, the government of Nepal told us that they are finished looking for people. They finished the search and rescue part, and now they have to go back to get back to routine. And get back to routine is to go back to school, go back to places that you know. So we divided into small teams: an engineer, electricity, search and rescue commander, and a soldier from the Nepalese army to protect us and to take us into places because we are not from there. So here you can see that's me, that's my team. I was the commander of this team. They were, I don't know, 40 years old, 35, and I was only 21, and I was the commander. And we went from house to house to say if it's okay to go back there and get back to routine. So we also went to the zoo to say if it's okay to go back to the animals and calm them. And when I had some breaks, it was important for me to go into the hospital to see what's going on there, to help where I can. And I immediately went to the children's room, and I saw some small gifts from Israel that we brought with us, and I started to give the kids, and you can see how they smile for you. They have the hope that it's going to be okay. And it was very emotional for me after I see all the damages, all the sadness, to see a little smile from a kid. It gave me hope and kept me very humanity and keep me going to do my job. That's the hospital. You can see it's a very old one, okay, but we had to go also to the hospital to say if it's okay to go inside. And those clowns are not soldiers, but they asked the Israeli delegation to join to make the Nepalese happy, to give them some hope to let them forget for a little while what they just been through. And I think that's very strong pictures and very important. So that's another places that we went to say if it's okay. You can see here they started to rebuild this wall. And after 28 days, the government of Israel and Nepal said that they are done. They don't really need us, and we can go back home. So we took the flag and we handed over to the Nepalese government. We had a ceremony, each other thanked the government of Israel and the government of Nepal. And before we went home, we went for a little drive to see how Nepal usually looks like, and not after an earthquake. So this is me smiling after this amazing trip. I didn't think that's the first time I'm going to be in Nepal because I really want to hike there. And I went back to Israel. That's my sister. That's the boy that you saw at the beginning that I told you that he was the only one I knew in this delegation. And that's the whole delegation with the medical team and the rescue team. And that's Bibi, you probably know this name. So he thanked us and told his speech about how important it was for us to send to Nepal. And from this moment, when I came back to Nepal, I understood that I have to stay in the army and to become a better commander and to train the other soldiers to be better soldiers, better rescuers, better fighters. And that's some stuff that I told myself, okay, that's my mission. I have to keep going. That's what I trained for. And I have to be, a model. And it wasn't always nice. It wasn't always easy. I left behind 20 of my soldiers. I didn't have any phone to ring and ask how they are. For me, that's everything. That's like kids that I have to take care of them. And the no connection with my family, my parents. It was very mental, very hard for me. That's some pictures of the hospital. I know they are not very nice, but you have to show them because when you think mentally and how difficult it is as a young woman to see this, I'm not used to see these pictures. So I think that was the time that I grew older and I understand much better my mission. But beside those difficult pictures, there were some happy moments, and we gave a birth at the time that the hospital was there. And that's a funny story. Toilet, okay, here you can see our toilet. And that's the development of the toilet. Here you can see a small pot, and then it grew older, and it was much nicer after 28 days because that was our house, and we wanted to be more comfortable than at the beginning. So that's some pictures from the daily routine to not go down with your thoughts. It's very important to do the routine, to talk every morning, every day, what you've been through, what happened, and to tell the other people who were in your team what's the difficult, because you have only each other. So I think the why I was chosen to go to the delegation is because I showed I was strong. I showed I was tough. I showed excellence. And it was very important for me to lead. And those things I took at the next job that I took, and I went to a company course. And from that on, I didn't have only 20 soldiers. I had over 100 soldiers, and I trained them, and I took care of them, and I lead them, and I showed them what's important and how to protect Israel the best way that I thought it was. And that's when I was a company commander. Okay, here you can see my officers who I lead, and I always told them those things. Expect authority, lead to excellence, know they expect of you, and just be yourself. And that's very important, I think, if you want to become a good commander, a human commander, a humanity, a respectful commander. And I want to show you these pictures because over the 6 years I went to the FIDF. I spoke at the gala in New York and told the Nepal story that I just told you. And these two pictures, I gave a degree, thankful for these old two people who were fighters at the time that Israel was just become a country, okay? And this picture, I want to show you because those are the lonely soldiers. What we call them lonely soldiers because they came from another country to Israel to go into the army. And it's very, very important to say thank you and respect them doing this important and unexpected thing to do. So today, this is me. I'm a biology student, as Julie just told you before. I'm wearing uniforms right now because I'm at the reserve unit. It's very important for me to keep help whenever I can. And this is from the last Corona Seger, Corona
lockdown, COVID-19 lockdown.
Yeah, that exactly this. So I went to hospital to help them and tell them how the army can help them get through this time. And this picture is after I finished my service, and before I became a student, I went to my trip, and part of the trip I went to the Appalachian Trail. As you can also probably know it, I hiked 2 months from Washington, D.C. to New York. And I think that was the time when I fully understand what I've just been through for the last 6 years. So as you can probably feel, it was very emotional. I went through a lot, and that's who I am right now, today, and it's still very important for me to share it with other people. And it's very important to show that that women can do the same things and become good and excellent commanders today. So thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, I will be glad to answer.
Ayelet, toda rabba. Thank you very much. It was inspiring indeed, as I told you in the beginning, before you started talking. So thank you very much. And of course, there are questions here. So we'll start reading them, and I guess we will start getting more and more questions as we proceed. So you tell me when you are too tired, when you're done, okay? Till then, I will be reading questions for you. And ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to emphasize that, as Ayelet mentioned, she is still in reserves. And she is a student, and this is a COVID-19 time in Israel, which is no easy for, especially, I would say, young people. And so donations are highly appreciated, and I really think she deserves it. You have her PayPal account here, paypal.me/Ayelet Zion, and well, it will be appreciated. So let's see. Okay. So what group trains the dogs? And do you have K9 units who sniff out recovery as well as rescue persons?
Okay, so the dogs, I can hear myself. The dogs are from a different unit, but they train with us, okay? That's something that we usually do in the Army. You take 2 units and join them together, because that's a professional unit.
Okay. Do you know if Nepal is completely rebuilt? Does Israel aid afterwards too?
I have to say that the last summer I wanted to go to Nepal to see for myself what happened for the last years, but we couldn't fly at the last summer. But this summer I'm planning to go to hike the Everest base camp, so I can tell you in summer.
So you will tell us when you're back. Okay. How many people do you think were rescued from buildings?
At this earthquake, I don't really know the numbers, but a lot of people. There were 20 delegations from all over the world who came to help Nepal. So I don't really know all the numbers from the other delegations, but the Israel delegation didn't rescue people from the buildings because everybody was already outside.
Okay. Are you saying that it was your job to go in and check structures to see if they were okay to be in use again? Why did they have the IDF do that instead of their own people?
Because they didn't have enough teams to do that. They needed a massive teams to go back as soon as they can to a routine.
Okay. Why were you unable to speak with your parents' family while you were in Nepal?
I had only 10 hours to get all the equipment ready, so I forgot to take SIM with me, and we didn't have any time to, yeah.
Well, next time, don't forget. Okay. Do you had, so you had one of the Israeli field hospitals set up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. There was a photo, one of the photos you showed, the one from United States, Pamela Lazarus. She is a VFI representative here in Israel. She says that the VD is in it. Well, I guess she's right. Yes.
This one?
This picture, why were you showing it's no the one before.
Oh, this picture, the picture they're holding down here, or it stands down there. Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
That's this one. He is in the picture, and he wanted to show me that he was in this team.
Okay. Do you know his name? This person's
I don't
name that was
remember.
standing by you? No. Okay. All right. Paulette says, Ayelet, you are a fantastic person. Stay strong and stay safe. What do you want to do after service? Would you? Well, I guess you want to become a biologist, but can you tell us?
I still do my research, which is not very usual for women to still do this after they finish the service. And now I'm in biology, and I don't really know if I want to take this to a medical way or to stay in a biology search. So I have to decide, I think, in 2 months.
Well, I know that your dad is a physician, so I guess he is, his favor of medicine. Okay, Renata says, thank you very much for sharing your story. You're such a brave lady. All the best to you. Well, you're definitely brave. No way I would go into this little crack in a ruined building. No way. Okay, we are very proud of the work you do. Yishel Koach. What is the name of your orange capped unit? What is the name of the military unit? The rescue Chilut?
Search and rescue team?
Search and rescue team? I don't know, the orange caps. What is the general name of the unit with the orange caps?
Isn't it Home Front Command? I thought orange was Home Front Command.
Yeah.
Orange is what?
Home Front Command.
The Home Front Command.
Picod Arif.
Picod Arif. The Home Front Command is the search and rescue in the field and in the country. So we are part of the Home Command. We are a small unit in Picod Arif, in the
Home Command. Mm-hmm. All right. Is there a separate technical track in the military?
What?
Is there a separate technical track in the military? This is Ivan's question. I'm not sure what you mean by separate technical track. So Ivan, if you're here, you're welcome to unmute yourself and maybe just explain. I don't know if Ivan is still with us. All right, I'm not sure.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, technical track. I mean, if you decide to be specializing in technology area for the military, is that a separate unit, separate group, separate training?
In our training, we all take the technical track. I know how to use all the equipments all together. So there are no differences in my unit with the equipment, but there are some professionals at the reserved unit, not in the service, who are specialized also.
Thank you.
Okay, so Ilana, the Home Front Command also has fighters, or was that a separate unit? That's you. Okay, yes. So this is a fighting unit within the Home Front Command.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And Jan said, thank you, Ayelet, for your great presentation. Well, again, thank you so much. Well, it seems like we have no further questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is still here, if you have more questions, you're welcome to ask. Otherwise, thank you so much, Ayelet. I really appreciate it, especially it's 10 p.m. Israeli time. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you for talking to us. And you're all welcome to meet again at the footsteps of Herodian Palace in the desert the day after tomorrow. Ayelet, if you'd like to join us, you're more than welcome. It's a beautiful place.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. at this time and share my story. It's very important for me to keep telling and keep show other women, other people that we are equal as them, and just keep doing this.
I want to ask a question. I know you're speaking for us, but do you know what Volunteers for Israel is? The group of people you're talking to?
Yeah.
And did you know about us when you would like see people on the
No
base?
Volunteers for Israel. She might know Sarah.
Yeah.
Israel, they don't know Volunteers for Israel.
Sometimes people say yes when I ask. So.
I didn't know Sarel, but I saw a lot of volunteers in the on-front bases. We meet them a lot and see them, and they help us a lot. So we appreciate every time we see them.
Great. Anyone else have any questions?
Well, that was great, Ayelet. Thank you very much. I can tell you, I've been to Kathmandu before the earthquake, and I can only imagine the disaster you saw before you with those millions of people in that crowded city and in the suburbs. That's remarkable. It's really an eye-opener. Thank you very much for giving us some perspective on that sort of thing.
I hope to see what you saw in Nepal.
Great. Well, it's open forum now for anybody who wants to discuss anything relevant or irrelevant. Feel free to click in.
Or say anything to Ayelet. Anything. Thank you so much, Ayelet.
Thank you. תודה רבה. לילה טוב. את משוחררת. שמרי על עצמך בהצלחה בבחינות.
תודה רבה.
תודה רבה. Okay. Thank you very much. The beautiful anemones at the field. Stay safe, stay brave, stay a leader. תודה רבה. ממש תודה.
Beautiful, beautiful.
So, hey, Judy. Okay.
I have a question sort of that I asked Steve that maybe you all can answer. When we use the PayPal account and donate, is there a good exchange on that from US to New Israel shekels? How does that work?
Well, they have their own exchange rate, which, you know, it can always be better, but this is the best we can get. So, you know, otherwise we have to wait till you come here, your soul and body, and bring some cash. Until then, PayPal is the best option. So PayPal is perfect.
I believe it's a commercial exchange rate, and it's not unusual or strange. You can use it. It's the best way also.
You know, if I know that 50% of my donation is going to be going to overhead.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Stuart, okay. You had a thought on that? Go ahead, Stuart. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Stuart.
I've got $1 is 3.16 shekels is what I have right now.
Okay.
Well, so for every dollar you spend, you'll get 3.16 shekels, 3.16.
Right, but my question was when we donate through PayPal.
Yeah. Let's
okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
Go ahead, Stuart.
Yeah. I just wanted to comment that Israel's had a positive relationship with Nepal for a long time. I worked on the Nepali healthcare system for 2 years from 95 to 97. And when I was in Kathmandu the first time, and I was there many times, I saw lots of signage on the shops in Hebrew, and I was blown away, not expecting that. I went and inquired about it and was told that Israeli kids like their gap year after they finish service, before they go either off to work or to college. They like to go out meandering around the world, and Nepal was one of their favorite places, so much so that the Nepali merchants decided they had to have signage to bring in customers in Hebrew.
Wow, that's marvelous.
Yeah.
And it's still like this today.
Yes.
Yeah. In regard to the burning of the dead people, Kathmandu is not too far from the holy city of India called, It's right on the Ganges River. Anyhow, the
I think
Hindu.
it's Varna, Steve.
Say again.
Like Varna. I've
Right.
been there. I think it's like Varna.
Right, right, and you can go on a Ganges and take a boat ride, and you pass all of these funeral piles along the river, where they're basically burning bodies one after another. You can see the smoke coming up, and I think it's just a Hindu practice or practice of that section of the world, very, very common. And the older people apparently go to some of these holy cities pre-dying to die there, so they make it easier on their family, so the family can put them on a funeral pyre when the right time.
That was such a delicate way to say that, Steve.
Well, the practice, but
It's nice to know.
They also think it's holy to swim in the water.
Yeah.
Right, and they wash their clothes in the
Right.
and everything along
Oh, yeah.
with all the ashes.
Yeah.
It's pronounced Ganga.
Anybody here from the Nepal Chamber of Commerce?
No.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for coming. Have a
Thank
great
you, thank
end
you.
of the day, and I'm seriously looking forward to virtually touring Herodian with you, and then as soon as possible in reality.
We'll see you in
Maybe
47.
we had enough Zooms.
Yeah,
Steve?
we'll see you in 47 hours, Julia.
Exactly. And we're going to talk about happier things. I mean, no earthquakes, no, people are happy and alive, and this is
All right.
beautiful renovation
When-
there. So,
When will this be on the website? This particular episode?
This video will be up in about 2 to 3 days on the
I have a
website.
friend who does a lot of work in Tibet and Nepal, and I want to be sure that I give him the opportunity to see it.
Sure. Wait about 2 or 3 days. It'll pop up. You can also go to the index. It'll be there also when it's
Right.
on the
Well, I'll
website.
check it before I tell him about it.
Great.
okay.
Yeah.
So just before I finally say goodbye, just to remind you that next week we will be talking, there will be another very inspiring, special, brave, smart officer, female officer, Maud, and she will be talking about the Iron Dome. She will be talking about her service as a officer in the Iron Dome unit, protecting the surroundings of Gaza Strip. So don't forget next Tuesday as well.
Great.
Okay. Thank you all. Thank you, Steve.
Hey, thank
you,
you.
Anna.
Thank
It was
you, Julia.
great to see you.